out of carbon fiber and metal flake. If you guys have missed the first two series, we are doing a fancy land speed racing inspired piece of wall art. It's a clock. We're using very fancy magenta metal flake, and we are also using some chopped carbon fiber. Boom, get that Express Composites. Uh, part three, this is going to be our most valuable, crucial step along the process. I have our feed line dialed in on this side. I have our vacuum manifold dialed in on this side. We've got our carbon fiber, we've got our flow media, we've got our PO ply. And the next step of the process is going to be the vacuum bag itself. This is by far the most important step of the stage here. I'm going to move this around just a little bit so you can get this all in here. How's that look? That looks better. There we go. So, uh, I run a pink vacuum bag film. Again, this is available at Express Composites as well as many other suppliers, but the pink vacuum bag film is really good for polyesters, vinyl esters. You can also use it on epoxy resins. When I do my vacuum bag, I always put the bag tape on the bag itself. I do not put it on the mold. I do that intentionally to make sure that the bag tape is as tight as possible against that plastic seal. You do want your bag to be slightly oversized. That's an important step because you are going to have some pleating that happens, so that'll take up a little square footage in a couple little areas. You can see that I have protected my vacuum bag seal edge with a little bit of blue tape before we started the process. So now we can unmask that edge that we're going to be applying the vacuum tape on. Again, it's very, very critical that you don't have anything on that edge. So when I start to do a vacuum bag, I'll start at one corner, and I'll peel the tape back just a little bit, and I will fold this at a 45 almost every single time. Very, very simple. You just want to put the two pieces together. So what this does is this gives you a pleat in every corner. It makes it a little bit more forgiving when you're doing your infusions when you have pleated corners compared to not having pleated corners. So we're going to start in one corner here. We're going to stick this down right on the edge. Just like so. So that's our starting zero reference point right there. We're going to kind of go around the bag. Got a little bit of tape sticking here. It's all good. It's all good. So we're going to do the same thing in this corner. We're going to peel back our bag tape barrier there. We're going to give ourselves a nice pleat right in the corner. And you can make these pleats as big or small as you want. I typically do them about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, just to give ourselves a nice starting point. And again, you want to use pretty good pressure to get that stuck in place. Move this around just a little bit. I'm a little bit pinched here in the corner. It's all good. Come to our next corner. Same thing. We're going to give ourselves a nice pleat in the corner. This is one of the reasons, again, why you want to have a little bit of extra bag film from what you think you would have. Bag film is cheap. Redoing it is expensive. So use extra if you can. Don't chintz on your bag film. There you go. So since I'm on this side, I'm just gonna run a couple pleats down here. You can see how much extra room I have here. So I'm gonna start by kind of pulling out, a few inches or so. Just like that. We're gonna put a little pleat here. So when I do my bag film and I have the gum tape on the bag, it's a lot easier to make pleats than trying to add the gum tape underneath. I see a lot of guys do that, and wow, what a mistake that is. So don't don't listen to everything you see on the internet, because some guys make their life very, very, very difficult, and I try not to. This is a fairly simple shape, so I don't need a lot of pleating, but I try to run at least 3 or 4 pleats on each side. Just to give us a little bit of wiggle room. That pleat's getting a little short, but it's all good. For what we're doing here, this is a very, very easy shape. I've got plenty of extra bag film. And you want to really make sure that you give that a good stick right from the get-go. This video will get a little loud in a little bit once I pull a vacuum. My vacuum pump is not the quietest thing in the world, so keep that in mind. And then again, we're going to start one more corner here. And again, we're going to start with a pleat in the edge. We're going to start a pleat in the corner, I should say, not the edge. It's a corner. And again, all you need is about an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches, whatever. Kind of depends on what your liking is, but you'll get the hang of that pretty quick. I've always told everybody that this is something anybody can do, as long as you've got a little bit of assistance and a little bit of help giving you the right tips to start with. You can easily be a success in vacuum infusion. So these are going to be a little tricky here, going around my manifold. Some guys like to poke holes in their bag. I do not personally. So I try to put a couple pleats around our vacuum manifold side. And I like to put a couple pleats around the resin manifold side. And they don't have to be large pleats, just little pleats to help the bag manipulate a little bit. Just like so. We're going to come down here. We're going to add a couple pleats. You can see that I'm kind of running out of room. I would have liked a couple extra inches on the bag film, but that's okay. Like I said, this is a fairly easy object to set up, so I'm not in any jeopardy of having too little bag film here. And I'm just going to pleat this kind of in the middle here. There we go. Again, you want to use pretty good force when you're sticking your gum tape down. Once we actually start doing our vacuum bag, or once we start actually putting the vacuum on the bag, we'll make a change here, but there we go. Step over my line, make sure I don't trip. Whew, almost tripped. That's okay. All right. Give ourselves a nice pleat here on the side. Same thing over here. You can see I've got a lot of extra material in the middle here, so I can run some very large pleats. Try to take up some of that extra slack there. So you can see how easy that is since the bag tape was actually on the bag to begin with. I don't need to struggle putting pleats underneath and putting extra gum tape down below that. This is the way to do it. Like I said, I don't understand why guys don't do it like this. You know, to each their own, right? Everybody's got their methods and their ways that they're set in, but over my years, I have found that this is by far the easiest way to do pleat work. So take it for what it is. I mean, that's an easy pleat right there. I see some very large YouTube channels struggling to put gum tape up underneath there when they're building their bag, and I don't understand why they just don't put their gum tape on the bag to begin with. It makes no sense to me. So, trick of the trade, I guess. There you go. And again, I'm going to put a pretty fatty pleat right here. And one more to go. I'm just going to stick that down. Just like so. So what I like to do once all the gum tape is down is I'll kind of go around the perimeter a little bit and just make sure that gum tape is really, really well stuck down. Especially where we come around these tops and corners, you really want to make sure that you squeeze that nice and tight. Because again, the last thing we want to have during the resin infusion is a bag leak. So take your time to really go around the perimeter, make sure that gum tape is as stuck as it can possibly be. No little air voids. And we'll hear it. Well, you guys won't hear it because the vacuum pump's going to be too loud, but you can hear the air release. If there is a pinhole, you can actually hear it kind of whistling at you. You can hear the air drone going right through the leak if you have one. So we can chase them down pretty quick. And there are some very cool, expensive tools that you can use. Leak detectors and such if you're really concerned about it, but I don't use that. I guess I don't have an issue with it, but if you want to throw some more money at your project and you want to get a leak detector, you can. It's not going to hurt your project. So, okay, so I've got a lot of extra bag here. And I'm just going to help put some extra bag where I know it needs it in the corners. Just like so, right? Pretty cool. All right, so now what I need to do is turn on the vacuum pump. This is going to get a little bit loud here, so I apologize about that. You can hear that humming noise. That is the vacuum pump going crazy right now. So because I have an open air line on our feed side right now, there's obviously no vacuum being applied to the bag. I guess there is a little bit, but not anywhere close to what we're going to need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold our feed line and kind of pinch that off. I'm just going to put a piece of tape around that to hold it in place. Some guys use fancy line clamps. I don't, I guess. There's a lot of stuff that I've done over the years that I I'm kind of set in my ways as much as the other guys are set in their ways, you know what I mean? Okay, so we're starting to run down. This is a pretty good time to manipulate anything that you think might need to be manipulated. Like I said, this is a fairly simple shape that we're working with right now, so you can hear a couple whistles kind of going from here and there. This is pretty good though. Kind of exactly what we hope for, is that there are no pinhole leaks. Just to be sure, we go around the perimeter, really push down that bag tape again, one more time. Really making sure that that's sealed as tight as it can possibly be sealed. Again, this is our most important step of the process of any resin infusion. You really want to make sure that you've got a good vacuum bag seal. I can hear the vacuum pump changing noise, so I know that there's no air leaks, but we're still just going to go around and give this an extra push just to be sure. There we go. I am pretty happy with that right now. That looks really, really good. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to turn our vacuum pump off for half a second here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the vacuum on this bag, and then I'm going to reapply the vacuum. I like to call that debulking. So right now everything is really compressed. By taking the vacuum off of it and reapplying the vacuum, you can really guarantee that the fabric is going to be squished down nice and tight. So we'll open up that just a little bit. This would be the time to also make any slight adjustments if you want to make some slight adjustments in terms of, you know, where the bag is positioned. Once the vacuum comes off here, you'll be able to manipulate the bag a little bit if you have to. Give yourself a little extra room here and there. If there's anything that you don't like the look of, now is the time to fix it. Because the next time we're going to do it is for good. You won't be able to change it after that. This looked pretty good the first time it went down, so let's make a couple small adjustments here. Take a little pressure off the plate there just a tiny bit. Give ourselves a little bit more room there. All right, I'm going to reapply the vacuum. We're going to do that whole process again. This time it should go a lot faster since there's not as much air in there. And again, these are the same rules to be applied to every single vacuum infusion. Doesn't matter how small, doesn't matter how large, doesn't matter how complex the shape. If you do these steps on every single one of your infusions, you're gonna make nice parts. I guarantee it. If you don't, send me your molds and I'll make your parts for you. That looks really, really fantastic. I'm happy with that. So there we go. There we go. We are vacuumed down. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take about a 40-minute break, and I'm going to let this vacuum bag sit under vacuum. And I'm going to make sure that it doesn't drop. Doing a vacuum check is very, very critical. Obviously, if you let it sit for 5 minutes and you have a pinhole leak, you might not catch it. But if you let it sit for half an hour, you're going to catch that pinhole leak. You're going to definitely know it's there. So in our next stage, we're going to actually do the infusion, so you get to watch that. But we're set to rock and roll right now. It looks really good. I'm super happy, and stay tuned for the final step of the process.